Hey y'all, I'm Tris.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Sean the Don. And we are
The Collective.
And we have a podcast,
Culture 101, where each week we talk about all manner of topics in Black culture.
From the hottest issues to the most bizarre.
And have a damn good time doing it.
So check us out every Friday where you get your podcast.
Culture 101 Podcast. Moving the culture forward, one episode at a time.
Stay tuned, stay locked in.
I like that little stay tuned. Stay locked.
Shh, the Tubi movie review is about to start. Hello, and welcome back to yet another For the Culture Tubi movie review. I hear that you guys may not be kidnappers, but you stay taking us on a ride. And to that we say, of course, of course. Anyway, guys, the film we have today is yet another, it's an interesting entrance into the Tubi movie hierarchy. Yes, again, the wonderful Christopher B. Stokes has regaled us again with another tale. The title of this film is I Hate You to Death. Came out in 2023. I believe this pick is Leslie's, and we're going to turn it right over to her. She can tell you all about it.
Listen, we're going to have to start calling Tubi Stokes, because his movies are all up and through there. But yes, this was my pick for this week. It came out in 2023, so last year sometime. Directed by Chris Stokes, of course. Marcus Houston and Chris Stokes wrote it. There are a few actors I've seen before, but basically they were in other Chris Stokes films on Tubi, so that's how I know their faces. I don't really know them from anything else. So
it's not important how you know them. You just know them. You just know them. That's all.
Sure. So there was a lot going on when it came to the timeline. So I'm going to be like really referring to my notes because there's so much jumping around. I don't want to confuse the listener. So y'all follow me because it's a journey. So in the first act, we start with the opening scene where Trevor Manning is hanging from a rope at the top of a skyscraper as Kelsey, one of his wives, looks down at him as he's begging for her to save him. So then we rewind to 2 months before that incident where we see Trevor and Kelsey are, living life. They're happy, vacationing, all the great things. They have pictures in frames. So they, from what we can see, live together. And then a few days after that, we see him with another woman named Naomi, who also looks happy with Trevor in a home with pictures. She's in her lingerie, comes over to kiss him good morning. And then a few days after that, we see a third woman named Olivia.
Living the life. Living the life.
Same thing. Life. They look like they live, a life of luxury, having a great time. And she starts narrating, and we find out that she's actually his second wife. And, she just should have known he was too good to be true, but he won't get away with playing her. So we see that they have a conversation about her best friend's engagement party that she wants them to go to. And so he reluctantly agrees to go. So then it fast forward back to the night of what we learn is going to be Trevor's launch party, which is the opening scene, where Kelsey walks Trevor into the hotel room blindfolded. And when she takes the blindfold off, he sees Olivia and Naomi. And of course, he's shocked because he's like, wait, how do all three of my wives know each other? What are we doing here? And so that's when Kelsey narrates and tells the audience to pay attention as she tells us how they all got here. So audience, pay attention. So in the second act, we go back to a month prior to the launch party where Trevor is at work announcing that the company is going public. And he asks to see Kat, which is his intern. Kat follows him into this office, which there's no real doors. It's just glass windows. And you can see that she's literally giving him head in the office of glass windows.
It's good to be the king. It's good to be the king.
Gosh, it's a mess. So his coworker, Marshall, comes in to tell Trevor that in 60 days, he'll have the coding to become the next Facebook. His business is called Turnster. It's social media, and he's very excited to hear this. So Trevor and Olivia arrive at her best friend Tracy's engagement party where they meet her fiance, Steve. Steve gives a nice speech and they all start dancing. And that's when Trevor and Olivia start reminiscing about how they met. Olivia says they met one way and he's saying a different way. And she's like, jokingly says, you must have me confused with another woman because that's not what happened. and he kind of looks like, ooh, am I tripping? And we see that he almost got caught up, right? We see he has a flashback, and he remembers Olivia sitting by herself in that same restaurant. And he assumed that she got stood up by, a guy, and he starts flirting with her, introduces himself, and that's how they met. And he snaps out of that flashback and tells Olivia she's the only woman for him. Now you'll start to see a pattern with this. So we go back to the present day, where Trevor is still suspended from, the roof of the hotel, or I should say the balcony of that room in the hotel. And each woman is holding a rope, and we see Naomi yelling over the balcony that Trevor also told her she was the only woman for him. And she walks away as he's begging for her to save his life. So then we have another flashback to 2 months prior, with Trevor and Naomi sitting very cozy in a lounge. And he's telling her that marrying her was the best decision he ever made. But she's like, really? Because it all happened so quickly. We eloped, I didn't meet any of your family. You didn't meet mine. And he tries to, woo her in a sense, saying like, oh, it was so romantic. I like to think of it that we're being spontaneous, and I'll promise to give you the wedding of your dreams. So she drops it. And they start to reminisce about how they met, which again was in the same location that they're currently in, the same lounge. She was on the dance floor, and he purposely bumped into her, sparked up some conversation. He kind of flirted by insulting her dance moves, but then that's how, they got to talking, and the rest is history. So 1 week after that, we see that Trevor is having lunch with Kelsey when her cousin Mel walks into the restaurant. And Mel asks how they met. So same thing. They met 2 years prior in the same restaurant that they're currently in. Apparently Trevor was bummed out about a deal that went south for his business, and Kelsey sent him a drink to cheer him up. They introduce themselves, they begin flirting, and the rest is history for them. So now we go back to the present day, which Trevor's still suspended from the hotel, and Olivia's yelling at him, basically saying you convinced me to have a baby with you. Olivia reveals that she's actually 3 months pregnant at that moment. So Kelsey is shocked and starts yelling at Trevor that she hates him because he told her his dad was the reason why he didn't want kids. And so she basically tells Olivia and Naomi, y'all can drop him now because I'm pissed. So we learned that 6 months before this incident happened, Kelsey was telling Trevor, as they're laying in bed, how much she really wants kids and how she always felt like she was, born to be a mom. That's her purpose. However, 1 month later, Trevor is pissed because he found out that Kelsey has stopped taking her birth control 2 months prior, and she is pregnant. And he feels betrayed because he trusted the fact that she said she was on birth control. So they, are arguing, and she just said, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. He's like, well, how are you going to fix it? She just storms off saying, I'll fix it. Someone can only, guess how she's going to fix it.
She threw herself down the stairs. Horrible.
I don't think it was that tragic. I think she just went to the doctor. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay. I wasn't sure. They didn't specify.
Goodness gracious. So we go back to present day. I was about to say we're not back in the 1960s, but then again, we are with the whole Roe v. Wade being overturned. Okay, I digress. So back to the present. Y'all stay with me with the timeline jumps. Back to the present day where Trevor's still suspended from the hotel. The women tie each of their ropes to a sliding door, and they all go back into the room to kind of huddle up and talk. So Kelsey and Olivia really have a special moment where Kelsey's telling Olivia that she ended up having an abortion, but it was a hard decision because the doctors told her that she would be high risk for not having kids again. But then she has a reflective moment where she's even though that part sucks, she was I did it because one, I loved Trevor at the time, but she said, I loved him to death, but now I hate him to death, hence the title of the movie. And then she says she doesn't regret it because she would regret having kids with him now that she knows who he is and what he's been up to. So Olivia consoles Kelsey and basically asks her what do you think I should do about my child? And Kelsey's I can't tell you what to do, but don't let anyone else influence your decision and do what's best for you, pretty much. And then they're like, how do we get so close, girl? Like, we never thought we would be here. And so they reminisce to back when they first met, which was a month before that. Trevor tried to sneak out the house at around like 6 a.m. Kelsey wakes up and she's like, where you going? And he's like, oh, my mom fell while she was like house sitting for a friend. I got to go check on her. And she's like skeptical, like, this story just doesn't sound right. She's like, I'll go with you. And she was persistent about going with him. And he kind of flipped on her with like, well, if you're going to go, then I don't need to go. So you go and let me know, how she is. But she was like, babe, I've never met your mom before, so I can't just go by myself. So that's how he weaseled out of her going. And she supposedly goes to work from what she told him. However, we see that she actually followed him to his mom's house where she sees Olivia. She doesn't know her as Olivia yet, but she sees Olivia walk out the house, hug Trevor. They go arm in arm back into the house. So that night when he comes home, of course, she's sitting up waiting like, he over here cheating on me. I'm about to confront him. So she does. She basically asks who that woman was. And of course, he lies and says, oh, that was my sister Karen. I didn't know she was coming into town to check on my mom, but she did. And Kelsey buys it. She apologizes and they end up making up and having sex. So the next day, Trevor goes to work and Kelsey decides to go back to his mom's house. And she rings the doorbell thinking she's going to like meet his mom and his sister and all this stuff. Well, Olivia answers the door and Olivia is like confused, like, who is this woman? Like, she's like, who are you? And Kelsey calls her Karen. And Olivia's like, my name is not Karen. I don't know no Karen. And she tries to like close the door in Kelsey's face, but she stops when Kelsey mentions Trevor's name. So of course, Olivia's like, how do you know Trevor? And Kelsey's like, oh, I'm his wife. And Olivia's like, that's impossible. Like, you can't be his wife. You're, too young. Trevor's not 30 like you think he is. He's 40 and I'm his wife. So Olivia tells her to find the right house and slams the door in her face. So then we jump back to the present day where Trevor is pleading with Naomi. She's the only one outside at the time. He's pleading with her to pull them up so they can be together. Naomi is kind of getting sucked back in with Trevor's charm, even with him pleading for his life. And so she tries to untie one of the ropes so she can try to save him. And that's when Olivia and Kelsey run back out like, girl, what are you doing? Like, don't fall for his sweet talk. He doesn't mean it. And Naomi's basically saying like, I didn't want to be a part of this. He chose me over y'all. Clearly, I'm the better choice. And they're like, I mean,
what can you say? What can you say?
But he didn't. He chose everybody.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Exactly. So Olivia clearly is like the ringleader of this, is like trying to snap her out of this. Like, she's saying that we all need to stick to the plan so we can get our revenge and avoid prison time. If either one of us falters on that, then we're all going to get caught up, right?
You might be surprised to know that not all serial killers are straight cisgender white men, and the victims of true crime are not a monolith either. She's Wendy and I'm Beth, and together we host Fruit Loops Serial Killers of Color, a true crime podcast.
Together we take deep dives into the true crime stories about marginalized and minoritized perps and victims that often go untold.
We also provide the context and nuance that these stories deserve. At Fruit Loops, we're serving up true crime with a side of history, society, culture, and some fun.
Listen to Fruit Loops Serial Killers of Color on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, it's your boy Tris, and guess what? We got new merch. That's right, new merch. Come check it out. Culture101podcast.com. Stay tuned, stay locked in.
A month prior to that, Trevor pulled up to Naomi's house and actually called both Olivia and Kelsey while he was still outside of his car. He gives them an excuse that he has to work late and he's going to stay at the hotel, which again is like a normal thing for him. So he, thinks he got away with it, but little did he know that they were both at Olivia's house with their phones on speakerphone. So each one of them could hear what he said to the other. Kelsey and then they get to talking or whatever afterwards. Kelsey reveals she's been married to Trevor for 2 years, and Olivia has been married to him for a little over a year. So they joke about like, okay, who's the real wife, who's the mistress, all that stuff. And it's good to see like the girls are like, siding with each other and against him and not against each other. You know what I'm saying? Because it normally goes the other way. So I'm glad to see that they're, making friends despite the situation. But that's when Olivia really like opens up about her past. She talks about her first husband, who apparently broke her nose and jaw, and her second husband actually left her for a man and then took her for everything she had, which is really unfortunate. Like, she does not have a good track record with men, and I really feel sorry for her. But that's the reason why like Trevor's charm works so well, because she fell for him. She ignored all the red flags, all the excuses about where he's going and why he's not coming home. She was just happy to be with the man that, treated her well somewhat. The next day, Kelsey walks into Trevor's office to drop off lunch, despite Marshall, his coworker, trying to slow her down because Kat is in Trevor's office. So Kat introduced herself before leaving, and that's when Kelsey suggests that they have dinner with his sister. Of course, Trevor thinks quickly on his toes. He's like, oh, we can. She already, went back to Houston. And then Kelsey's like, wait a minute. I thought you said she was from Chicago.
Not at all. I didn't say that.
Oh, gosh.
Foolish.
All right, baby Trevor over there.
No, he said she flew in from Chicago. She wasn't listening. You got to hear the details. Shit's important.
You done
Words
this
mean
before,
things.
huh?
I've never done that. I just know that I paid attention to the movie and remember what he said. It was very interesting.
Right. Players don't tell on players, huh? So he cleans it up by saying that she flew from Chicago because she was there handling business, but she really lives in Houston. And so she's like, oh, okay. She doesn't really believe it, but like, she's not going to challenge it at this moment, right? So he basically says like, hey, babe, I appreciate you bringing me lunch. I got to go talk to Jason. I'm going to, talk to you later. Kisses her goodbye, sends her on her way. So we see Jason and Trevor meeting, and Jason tells him that, hey, man, you don't have any money left. You invested it all, and you need to come up with some more cash flow soon or your business is done. And so Trevor's like, I don't have any cash on hand, that type of thing. And Jason's like, well, don't you have some kind of like life insurance maybe you can pull from? And that's when like Trevor has this epiphany moment, like, I do. So we're like, what is this man thinking? So we see Kelsey rush over to Olivia's house after leaving Trevor's office. She's upset, and Olivia's surprised to learn that Trevor has an office, which he told Olivia he didn't. He told her he was a traveling real estate agent. And Kelsey's like, no, girl. Like, this man it has a whole startup. It's a social media company that's in competition with Facebook. He has an office building with employees. And so Olivia's like, well, who was he, posing as his real estate agent? And Kelsey was like, oh, he must be posing as my brother. And so they again have this like moment where they're like, what else has this man been lying to us about? Like, it's just crazy.
A travel real estate agent.
Those exist. Those exist.
Do
because
they?
Olivia's like,
then you just gotta be licensed in
a real estate agent
in hella states.
Well, it depends on where you're licensed. And plus, mind you, he might only deal commercially. So he's only dealing with big business deals, clearly. I'm just saying, you can make it work. Like, that wasn't the part that bothered me. There are much of other shit that bothered me. But that wasn't the one.
So we go back to the present day where all three women decide to stick to their original plan. They're not going to let this man sweet talk them and confuse them. And that's when Kelsey goes out, and Trevor, of course, begs her to pull him back up, starts sweet talking her. And he tells her she's the only woman for him. Same line that he keeps using on all of them. And he says that you're the reason why I wanted to settle down. Why do you think I married you first? I don't know how that would like make me like, that's not going to make me feel good, but whatever. He tried it, but it's like, what?
Hey, I see you. I see you.
No.
You who I wanted first. You wasn't enough. That's why I needed more. But
exactly. That's not gonna make me feel good. So anyway.
It's like, I just want to move all of us to Utah. Let's make it work.
Oh gosh. So Olivia sees that like he's getting to Kelsey's head, so she runs out and starts yelling like Trevor, stop! He's trying to manipulate you, Kelsey. Please don't listen. And Kelsey blames Olivia and Naomi for ruining what she and Trevor had. But Olivia reminds her that you came looking for me, girl. So here we are. Like, if you were so happy being, in the bliss of everything. What is it? What's the saying?
Oblivious.
Yeah,
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. That's what I was getting. If you were so happy, then why'd you come find me? So Naomi tells both of them to stop and that she understands why Trevor married her. So again, he's slowly getting into their heads, making them turn on each other and question their plan. So now we start the third act where we flash back to a few weeks prior where Kelsey sees Trevor hug Naomi goodbye outside of her home. Then, mind you, she's spying on her with some binoculars, very, incognito. I almost said incognito.
It's both. It's both.
Incognito is the thing.
Yeah, it's both.
It is. All right. So Kelsey and Olivia follow Naomi to this little restaurant, and they're not really doing a good job of like spying on her because they're literally like sitting here while she's right here at the bar. They're like staring at her to where every time she turns around, she sees them. And she keeps looking like, what are these ladies looking at me for? So finally, Naomi goes up to them like, can I help y'all? Why are y'all staring at me? And Kelsey thinks quickly on her feet, and she says that they are work for like a talent agency.
Talent
they're looking
scouts.
for
talent scouts, yeah.
They're looking for models. And so Naomi's like, oh, you should have led with that or whatever. And Kelsey says the words, we're with Turnster, owned by Trevor Manning. And that was a ding, ding, ding for Naomi. And she was like, wait, Trevor? She was like, how do you know my husband type of stuff? They were like, husband? She's like, yeah, we're newlyweds. And Kelsey like flashes her wings. She's like, oh, me too. Welcome to the club. And then Naomi's like, oh, I always wanted to be in the newlywed club. And Olivia's like, not this one. It was such a funny moment to me. I just love that. So, super cute.
I'm going to wait. Continue.
Okay. We're almost there. So, Kelsey tells Naomi everything. Of course, with Olivia chiming in with her portion. And they just, Naomi's shocked to hear this, right? She just thought Trevor was oh so perfect. So they start exchanging all the lies he told each of them about like his family and why they've never met him. And then they start to plot for revenge. So Trevor gets to Olivia's house and thinks she's in the shower. This is later on in the evening. Gets to Olivia's house, thinks she's in the shower. So he goes into the kitchen to make a phone call. But she comes down the stairs to eavesdrop on the call, and she hears him discussing a $10 million life insurance policy that he took out on each of them for a total of $30 million. So Kelsey remembers that months prior, and they're talking about all this at the restaurant, right? So Kelsey remembers months prior that Trevor told her about a new insurance company that wanted to partner with this company, and he told her to sign for the new insurance policy. And she said they had the type of relationship where like she trusted him on whatever like documents he brought, and she took care of, the household stuff. So he said his lawyer already looked at it. So she didn't look at it. She just signed it. So we go back to the meeting with, Naomi, where Olivia tells Kelsey, basically, you need to tap into your phone and insurance records so we can get all this information about the policy. And Kelsey's like, okay, cool. Got it. She goes home. Trevor's asleep on the couch. She grabs his laptop, goes up to their bedroom, starts to look, and she sees that she discovers 6 offshore accounts that he plans to put the money into from the life insurance policies. So after he kills all 3 women. So Olivia suggests that they get him to confess by dangling him off the roof of the hotel the night of his launch party. And the other 2 women are like, wait. I'm all for revenge, but I ain't trying to be no murderer. I'm not trying to have nobody on my hands. Like, this is not my ministry. But Olivia's like, yo, this is the way we got to do it. Are y'all down or what? And so they're like, okay. And then they start planning. So 4 days before the party, Trevor is hyping up to his employees, talking about how many like increased subscribers they have and all this stuff. And we see Kelsey books the hotel room under Trevor's name. Olivia pickpockets the universal room key from an employee. 2 days before the party, Noam grabs the employee clothing that they're going to change into. And the day before the party, they all confirm that they're still down for the plan. So we finally arrive to the night of the party. where Trevor and Kelsey arrive. They exchange some words with Jason and Kat as his date, which is like, okay, Kat, she just making her rounds around the office, but okay, cool. So Kelsey excuses herself to go to the restroom, and we see that Kat follows her. She walks, right behind her. But then we cut to Kelsey at the Summit Hotel in the lobby talking to Trevor on the phone. So this is later that night after the party. And she's telling him, I'm surprised you with the room at this hotel. And he's excited. He's like, I've always wanted to, stay at that hotel. This is great, babe. I'm on my way. He gets there, goes up to room 2038 after stopping and getting the key from the front desk. And Kelsey is standing outside the door, and she starts kissing him and like showing him, how much she loves him, starts undressing him, right? And she turns him around and uses his tie as a blindfold. And she walks him into the room, and that's where we come to where the movie started, where she's taking the blindfold off and he sees Naomi and Olivia in the room. So this is where the fun really starts. So he's shocked, of course, to see them, starts trying to, explain himself. And Naomi's like, hold on. She was like, what's up with your American accent? You're British. And Kelsey and Olivia's like, what? Like, what you mean this man is British? And he starts talking in his normal British accent. They're like, of course, like, what else can this man lie about? His own accent? Like, this is crazy.
I'm just curious how that didn't come up in any of the conversations they had. That didn't come up one time. Now one
when
person
they were exchanging lives and stuff like that.
It just didn't come up at all.
Well, because Naomi's the only one who knew, and I guess in Naomi's defense, she's probably thinking like, "Oh, they know he's British because she probably talks regular." She probably ain't have no idea that this man was putting on an American accent.
She didn't once say, "Oh, I think he's from London." Nothing like that didn't come up. Where is he from? Whatever, it's fine. Continue on. I'm sorry.
That's a good question. I don't know.
The fuck out of me. I was like, y'all just finding about this now.
I mean, one of the many lies. So, Kelsey tells him to say before his attorney when they file for their 3 divorces because it'll take all his money to put him in jail. And he tells them his money is in places that they'll never find, but they stop him and explain everything that they learned about all the offshore accounts and the life insurance policies. And so he asks like, but wait, how do y'all know all this? And Kelsey says there's power in the cat. And that's in reference to the intern cat. I was like, oh, I see what you did there, girl. So we see that it rewinds a little bit to earlier that night when Kat followed Kelsey, to the restroom, and gave Olivia comes out of a stall and she gives Olivia a flash drive with all the emails, receipts, passwords, everything that will prove that Trevor is broke. And Kat was able to get that information from his coworker Jason. And of course, once they get all the money, they're going to pay Kat for it. So Kat's like, you know what? I do what I got to do for a little check or whatever. Kat don't care. She ain't got no allegiance to nobody. So that's when he tells them that a man named Garrett was helping him with his life insurance policy to get him out of debt. When they tell him, stop lying. He tries to leave the room, but that's when we see Garrett is actually standing on the other side of the door and puts a little cloth to his face, which makes him pass out. And that's when they're able to tie him up into the ropes. So when Trevor wakes up, he's suspended from the balcony, begging for the lady to save his life. But then he starts laughing and he reminds them that like, y'all ain't no murderers. Y'all can't get away with this. Like, what are y'all thinking? But that's when Kelsey laughs and says, oh, we thought this all the way through.
Of course they
did. We rewind to the day before when they confirmed they were still down for the plan. Olivia tells the lady she found the man who was going to help Trevor kill all of them. And that's when Garrett comes into the restaurant and he says that his brother's police chief and there won't be any consequences because Olivia is paying him more than what Trevor was going to pay him. So
he's assassin's brother is the police chief. I'm sorry, continue on.
I mean, that's quite the business, right? So back to the night of the party. That's entrepreneurship right there. Like,
is that what that is? Continue on.
Continue on. Hustle. So back to the night of the party. Garrett tells the ladies that he's got it from here. They walk away. Garrett releases the 3 ropes and Trevor falls to his death and lands on top of a parked car. And we see that all the ladies had changed into the employee uniforms that Naomi had got the day before. They walk out the hotel as if they're employees there and they keep it pushing. So the resolution, we go to 3 years later. We learn Olivia ended up taking the fall for all 3 women because apparently spouses don't receive benefits from life insurance policy if the reason is suicide. if the person committed suicide.
Correct.
So that's why she took the fall. But she was sentenced to 10 years, but got out on good behavior after serving 3 years. All three women are back together having drinks when Kelsey tells Olivia that she has $10 million waiting in a trust for her, and that she also owns a percentage of Turnster, Trevor's company. And apparently it became the fastest growing social media platform after his death. And that's when Olivia thanks Kelsey for taking care of her daughter while she was locked up. They hug Olivia goodbye, and then Naomi and Kelsey stay sipping their cocktails and cheersing. And that is the end.
Hey y'all, it's your girl, Sean the Don, and I'm here to tell y'all that we now have merch up live. You can find some t-shirts, you can find puzzles, you can find candles, whatever you want, we got it. Come check us out at culture101podcast.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Les, 1/3 of the Culture 101 podcast. We want you to stay locked in for more content coming to you soon. Stay tuned. Doesn't look like it's going to be a second one because
You never know
lot.
with him. You never know with
he
him.
could come back from the dead.
You know how Tubi be. He
didn't
just
really
opened his
die.
eyes on top of the car.
On top of the car. Yep. And Garrett helps him, or he ends up paying Garrett like 5 times more, so he saves him. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have some notes. I want to hear y'all's notes first, so I'll go like last. But what did y'all think?
Well, Tristan got his
It was
prepared,
great.
so go ahead.
Yeah, the timelines were trash. Like I
It
was
was a
just
lot.
like brother, like I understand nonlinear storytelling, but this is just a headache. Like it was 2 months, then it was 3
Yeah.
years, then it was. I'm like, it didn't even go in any type
And a
of
week later,
It was just fucked up. I guess I didn't
Yeah.
like any of it. That annoyed me.
I feel
And
like
then- Let's see. There were some things I did like. There was decent casting. The sets were nice. Wardrobe was good. I felt like you showed
Hair.
black people in a
Natural hair.
She
Hair
had
was
her natural hair. Kelsey.
I don't
You
I
had
don't
one.
know if that was all hers.
She
but-
may have had some like pieces added, but it was natural hair.
Right. But that was
Let
the
her
only-
have it.
That was the only one, but it's fine. Anyway, beyond that, the movie didn't even get interesting until 33 minutes and 12 seconds in. So like it took about 33 minutes, and then at that point, that was probably the most compelling scene where they're arguing about the potential abortion that could happen.
Okay.
That was probably the most compelling thing that actually felt like a real scene. I was like, oh wow, y'all actually may know how to act here. This is impressive. And so then the rest of the movie, it was kind of here and there. The wifey club, they had decent chemistry when they got together. That was a decent other scene that they had. Overall, I just like this movie was more of a collection of scenes than an actual movie, or like a TV show. It just felt like it was a bunch of scenes they put together, and then it was like, I guess it has a point at the end, so that was fine.
You ain't feel like it flowed?
Like I said, a collection of scenes that they put together, and good. I will say I definitely like Trevor, Daniel J. Johnson, the actor that played Trevor. He did a pretty good job, definitely in trying to find chemistry with each of the partners, and then flipping back and forth between his accent. He actually is from London in real life. Yes, he was Jamaican, and we see that he immigrated to London there at some point. But the movie was cool. I feel like on the gradient of so I made this gradient, right? Well, you have they got it made, and then the end is decent. It's a Tubi movie gradient. In the middle, you got corny as fuck, you got corny, you got and you got I see. I'm gonna give this movie so we'll call that a
3.
Call it a 3.
Okay.
A 3.
I'll take 3.
Give it a 3. We'll give it a 3 and also this movie is The Other Woman.
Essentially.
So I was just like, I've seen this. It's a different ending, different little twist ending. That was cool, but it's The Other Woman. So I was like, 3. I'll give it a 3.
There aren't a lot of new movies under the sun, though.
That's not an excuse.
Everything's
you can still make it. You can still make it feel different. You can make it feel different. You can.
Fair enough.
Nah.
All right, Sean.
I'm gonna say that I was really excited when the movie started off, and they were like, I love that little thing that they'd be like, I bet you're wondering how we got here.
The classic BET.
Yeah, I love the BET of it all. That shit, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, all right, we on to something. But I got some of the same critiques as Tristan. That that back and forth shit, stressful. stressful.
It was a lot.
And
yeah.
why did they take so, like, it felt like it was drawn out, but then also not enough at the same time, if that makes sense. You know, how like it took forever, like you said, to get
they didn't
shit
give
started.
the right part enough story.
Yeah,
Is that
like
what
you
you mean?
gave yes, that's exactly what I mean. You gave too many parts of the story too much time. Like you should have took time from here, here, and here and put it at the end. You know, like
Correct.
That's annoying. I think that would have made the movie a lot better. We could have took off about 15 minutes of shit. And added 5 at the end. But I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
That's generous. That's generous.
I think that's fair.
I think it's a very fair depiction. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I disagree with that rating. I'm just saying, I mean, I do, but I'm just saying that, like, I just feel like there are some glaring things. I'm just like, oh, y'all really made me sit through this shit. Goddamn you, Christopher B. Stokes. But I get it. But I get it. Look, of the movies, I feel like it's probably the best looking picture out of all of them.
From Chris,
like in terms of set pieces, who you've casted, like where it was, all that stuff. I feel like it's the best looking version, like aesthetically, of all of his films.
Got you. So I like the beginning of the very beginning of the opening scene where they like show like the names on the buildings and stuff like that. I just thought that was cool, cute little touch. Shout out to Khalees, you know, I hate you so much right now. Like, oh,
he always pays for one song. He always pays for one song. He's like, I gotta pay for one. I'll pay for one song. If you notice, he'll pay for one song.
Yeah.
Though,
so
admittedly, I think there was like Bill Withers in there this time, because I think Who Is He to You might have been in the movie somewhere, probably around like the hour mark. So maybe 2 songs.
They weren't even together that long. But anyway, so it started off with the bang, which you know that I like. You know, as soon as I saw him suspended from the balcony, I'm like, oh, okay, this got my attention. I picked a good one. I also thought the opening like montage where they were like transitioning between each wife and like him interacting with them in their pictures, I thought that was really like smooth how they did it. Because if you like looked away, like he was already on another wife type of thing. So I thought that was really smooth. Again, same with y'all, the timeline jumps. If I would have known it was gonna be like Still Here, I probably would have picked it, because Still Here annoyed me with all like the timeline jumps and stuff like that. So I was like, dang, I did this to myself, and I really had to like pay attention, pause it, rewind, like make sure I got everything situated. So that was a little annoying. I agree with Tristan and y'all. The acting was really good. I loved watching the three of them interact together. I thought they had a really great like chemistry, and it was like fun and cute, you know, despite their circumstances. I thought that they just like, yeah, it was really some funny moments in there. So I thought it was really cute.
Just we've heard some terrible lines. We've heard some terrible lines. Yeah. So like I think that
we have. So like, I guess like by comparison, sure.
Yes, I should say that. By comparison, good lines.
Like by comparison,
overall,
sure.
Not really.
Sure.
But by comparison, yes.
In the grand scheme of it.
They had plenty of corny shit in the movie. Like it was this movie, I almost called it corny, but I was like, they really tried. They really because the end is the best line of the movie. He's like, whatever they're paying you, I'll double it. You have nothing left to double. And then he just dropped him off the fucking building. I was like, now that's some cold-blooded shit. Now that's some cold-blooded shit. Now I like that.
That was a good line.
That was the best shit. That was the best, because the guy who played Garrett, he wasn't good. He was very stiff. And I understand he was trying to be a rigid hitman. But no, what you did, like how they introduced him, felt cartoonish. That was corny. And then when he came in at the end, like I was like, okay, now I'm really starting to get like your presence here. Like it was like Voldemort in like the first Harry Potter movie as opposed to the fifth. You're like in the fifth, you were like, oh shit, this is Voldemort. And the first, you were like, who is this corny nigga on the back of this motherfucker's head? You know what I'm saying? Like it just that dichotomy right there. But no, it's fine.
Sure. My favorite line was the whole newlywed moment. That was so funny to me when Olivia said, not this club. Like, I just thought that whole moment was cute. And then, like, some of their, like, banter on the balcony with each other. I thought that was funny.
Honestly,
Naomi
we needed more of that. We needed more of that. I think we needed more of the lady synergy. I feel like, and I guess they were trying not to make it like the other woman, so they focused more on those relationships. But I just think we needed more of those lady synergy. And then, hold up, wait a minute. There's something I want to address. So when they were doing their little grand plan and all this shit, right? Naomi's hold on, Naomi's the young one, yeah. Her part in it was so pointless. What y'all need the uniform? Like, what was
to
that?
walk out of the hotel. To walk out of the hotel.
You didn't even need to do that. Y'all could have got on separate elevators. There's 1,000 things y'all could have done. But that was the plan. And then she came in this fucking fedora, like nobody was gonna see you. What is this? You over here looking like Alicia Keys in 05, and no one's gonna see your tall ass. Get the fuck out of here. This is so silly.
You know my name looking. Oh my
Stop
goodness.
it. Come on now. Y'all know this was wild. They just wanted to give her more screen time, and they were like, right. And get this man some hot chocolate and some yams and some greens. My God.
Well, since we're talking about scenes that irked us, the one that irked me was when Olivia like pickpocketed the employee to get the universal room key, and she walked outside and like bypassed that woman, you know, trying to be all discreet. And then she walks to the door, but there's like a guy who literally walks right by her as she's walking to the elevator. I'm like, clearly Brumman don't care about his job. He like, whatever, I ain't seen nothing. But I'm just like, come on, how realistic is that he wouldn't see something, say something?
Well, he saw her walking away, and there was just no, like, where else was she gonna go? Who gives a fuck about this stuff around here? Like, I understood more of his response than the lady. Like, first off, what, like, were you trying to help her? Like, what? Because in your mind, what is she trying to steal? What's there to steal? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is she gonna take it in these heels? Stop it. Like, nobody's paying her any mind.
Right. So with all that being said, I enjoyed the movie though. I did. I give it a 3.5. I agree with Sean. I think that's a fair rating. And yeah, that would be my rating for it.
My thing is this:
it's not sustainable.
You were in love with the lifestyle, and then y'all got upset when y'all found out it wasn't what you thought it was. And I just feel like they need to take a lot of the blame in that. And honestly, I think she should have done like 15. Honestly, all of them should have been in jail for like 20 years, personally. Everybody should have been in jail. And I get it. Hell hath no fury. But like, at the same time, y'all just killed a whole dude. All of y'all should be in jail for like 20 years. All of y'all be in jail. But he was wild that he decided to marry all three of them. It was like, wow, bro, you are really going for
and that's what I want.
Not even dating two and married one.
Right,
like you married everybody.
So that's a good point because I feel like they didn't really touch on that. Like, how, as Trevor Manning, are you able to marry three women? Like, would you have to change your?
Well, no. He had a different name. He had a different name as well. That's what Trevor. Yeah, how was he Trevor Manning?
He was Trevor Manning to all of
that's
them.
Right.
So I
thought he had a different name with Naomi at first, but I guess not.
Because remember they said the name Trevor Manning. That's what like perked up your ears. So I feel like they should explain that, like how he was able to marry all three of them and get away with it because
that's Tubi. They don't care. They don't care. That's irrelevant. They're like, what does that matter? You can marry anybody he wants to marry. Like, how did you get all those marriage? Like, because the thing is that technically, the other two marriage licenses should be null and void.
Right?
You know what I mean? Because you can't be married twice in the same, and they all live in the same state. Like,
which is crazy.
I think the problem is that he should have had them in different countries. Like, he should have had somebody in Canada, and he should have had somebody in the U.S., and then somebody in Mexico, and then he would have been good. And
but then he really would be able to get away with it because the travel time would take longer, and then
it would be, but it would be fine though because. I'm at base camp. I'm at the next site. We're trying to open an office here. You know, we're trying to get shit off the ground. I'm just saying you had a lot more latitude. And then if somebody was following you, you really would have known. I just feel like he didn't play it right. He didn't play it right. He really tried though. I got to give him I give him an A for effort. Definitely A for effort.
Moral of the story, he would have got caught one way or the other. It's not sustainable. And let that be a lesson to all you cheaters out there. It's not sustainable.
This is more than cheating. This is like this is a fabrication. Like, that's more than cheating. That was a whole
triple
fabrication. But this is what the other part that bothers me too. Okay, so you married the three women, right? And then you were like, I'm gonna kill them all. Okay, but like you married them years in advance. So this was always your plan? You had always just saving up wives so you could kill them when the money was going to go south?
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
But how can that be? Because the thing is that the money went south and he was like, can't you? I thought he was just going to sell the policies because there's equity in your policies. So I assumed he was just going to sell the policies. So I'm just trying to understand, that was always your plan? Or
maybe
that just
not.
Came to you?
Maybe,
so he just had wives on the back burner, like, let me keep a wife here.
Just a liar, cheater, and selfish and greedy. But then he realized, oh, this can actually work to my advantage. I think maybe he just had that epiphany moment when Jason mentioned him needing to get some money from some insurance policy. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to get in the head of that man because he was just crazy. He was crazy.
I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed and shocked at the same time. I was impressed and shocked because I was like, because it's just like, how are you able to do this and then to like not go crazy? And then of course you got caught. I mean, you knew that at some point you're gonna fall.
I mean,
like,
Tristan, honestly, as a man, would you want 3 wives? I feel like that's one person is enough for one person to take care of, right?
3 wives in what capacity? In what capacity?
In this capacity,
you're
like,
taking care of them.
Financially,
they are not
emotionally, mentally, like having to take care of one person is a lot. Like, and when I say take care of, I mean like just being in partnership with one person is a lot. Having to do this 3 times, like you are spreading yourself so thin in every way. I feel like it's a lot.
Yeah, I think that the fact that he like put a ring on it 3 times is so wild to me. That's just so wild. Like I can't even imagine the one time is hard enough, let alone 3 times. That's already wild. I mean, in theory, it seems like if you could get if everybody knew their role correctly, we're a team.
Well, that's a true sister-wife situation.
Right. I was like, if everybody knows their role, we're a team. But it never works that way. So you just have to know, like, you have to have a wisdom to know, like, you just want one dog. Just do one. Just do one.
Because
set your family up somewhere in Honduras if you want to do something else.
Even the white guy on Sister Wives, I think he was up to like 3 or 4 wives, and now he's down to 1. Not sustainable. And they all knew about each other and their kids and their families, but it's not sustainable. So, let that be a lesson to y'all. 1 is enough. Stop being greedy. That's my takeaway. Anyway,
that's what you got from there. That's what you got from there. Now, we shouldn't kill. We shouldn't murder anybody. Now, if there are red flags, it should be on us to try to figure that out. None of that. Just don't be greedy. Okay, sure. All right.
It all comes down to that. Don't be greedy, and the rest, is irrelevant.
Okay. So I guess, ladies, does it do it for the culture then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. Black people were shown in a positive light for the most part. For the most part.
I don't know about positive light, but they were shown.
Well, in terms of society, in terms of societal structure, yes. In terms of societal structure, yes.
Okay.
In terms of their misdeeds, absolutely not. But without the misdeeds, do we even have a picture? So.
Right. I agree. All right, go me. That was a good pick.
Yeah.
Applause for yourself. Yeah, go Leslie. Good for you.
Absolutely.
Y'all needed some encouragement.
All right.
Well, guys, that does bring us to the end of yet another Tubi movie review. Thank you so much for tuning in this time around. And you let us know what other movies that you'd like to see. You can subscribe, check us out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. And Leslie, if they wanted to talk to us and tell us directly what other Christopher Stokes movie they want to see, how would they do that?
So you can always talk to us in our socials. We love to communicate either in the comments or in our DMs. If you want to send us a direct email, it's contact@culture101podcast.com. Or if you want to hit us up on our websites, culture101podcast.com, just scroll all the way down. Leave us a message.
Absolutely. And if they were looking to get some merch, much like the merch that I am sporting right now. Oh my gosh, Sean, are you sporting merch too?
Yeah.
Leslie, what's on your shirt? Are you sporting merch? Oh my God. Sean, where would they get that merch? Where would they get that?
You got a shirt. If you're looking for some Culture 101 merch, definitely look us up on culture101podcast.com/shop. You can get your own graphic tee like you see that we're rocking today. We got hoodies, we got jackets, we got coffee mugs, we got candles. Whatever you're looking for any occasion, you can find it at culture101podcast.com/shop.
All right, y'all. Well, until the next time, we're out of here.
Bye.